Well, hey guys, and welcome back to the Sports Latte. It's your host, Janae Robinson, and today we'll be doing a Sports Latte exclusive, keeping with the JPL series. I'm joined again with Dewight Jeremiah, repping his Sports Latte top. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about JPL or, the young players and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Them well, hey, dance all a dance all I go need me. Frankie, this I get too easy.
So, guys, we have off camera, we selected our top 5 under 22 footballers in the league. And in that list, we have Richard King from Cavalier FC. We have Krista J. Daly from Harborview FC, Romain Blake from Waterhouse, Devontae Hodges from Dunbeholden, and Anthony Bennett from Harborview. Do you want to rank those players? Oh, disclaimer, everyone. There are many other footballers that could be in this list, but this is just our top 5.
Yeah, and I'd say what we can do is invite you, the viewers, to probably make your suggestion as to who you think should be in that top 5 and your reason for having them in that top 5. But before we get into ranking them as you'd have it, maybe we can discuss a little bit about these players, what made them the players that are in this top 5.
Well, we can start with Romain. For me, I think Romain has had an outstanding season, not only from last year's Manning Cup, but the year before. I think this year was his year to shine, playing excellent football in the Manning Cup, being one of the few defenders to be recognized, and then transitioning well into the Jamaica Premier League to the point that he's starting on the Waterhouse team. To me, that is commendable, and he's consistent with his performance. I think that is something that's key when talking about Romain Blake.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, yeah, his quality is there for you to see because Waterhouse is not the easiest place. I mean, I've been to training session of Waterhouse and the fans come out to the training session and in the stands, they can be brutal if they don't think this player is matching up to what they think, quote unquote, Waterhouse standard is. But I think he has been very good, as you said, went in seamlessly. But also his standard of play, versatility. I mean, play him as a defender, but he can play into midfield. He's one of those defenders I, as a coach, like because I really like defenders that are good ball handlers as well. So it's not just a hacking out, but also he's very strong. I remember being at a training session at Waterhouse and a player came off the field and he said, I wasn't prepared for that physical duel, and he knocked me off my feet. I mean, the player came off with a bruised knee. So he's fierce, he's physical, because the Premier League, Jamaica Premier League can be physical, and he has been like that. So I think very few would argue with his position in this top 5. Whether or not where he will end up is another matter.
What I think they may argue on is, as a defender, his height. He is short for a defender, but I think the work that he does on the field makes up for it, because average defenders aren't.
Yeah, but you look at the Martinez for
example.
Manchester United. Yeah, Argentina is my team, so I'll bring him one of the closest of centre backs. He's good.
Yeah, I don't think it discredits his talent, though. I think that with the right training, he will be one of the defenders which we can look forward to.
Like I said, he can play the defensive midfield role. So I mean, we've seen a Conte not big, because of his passing range and his intelligence. I think if not there, which he can just move just a position up, which is in the D mid position. So yeah, I think he certainly warrants his place in the top 5 of top under 22 players in the Jamaica Premier League. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we'll move on to Krista J. Daly, who has been on the Sports Latte, and you guys have heard his story. But I think what's so special about Krista J is we've just seen a fraction of what he has in store. And to me, that's crazy. He's 20 years old, very versatile on the field, plays attacking mid, but he knows how to score the goals when he's in his element. Some goals that we aren't even expecting. And I think that if he's at 20 doing that, by the time he's 22, 24, if he continues on the same trajectory that he's on, it's like mind-blowing every time I think about him as a footballer.
You know me, and Krista J. Daly is attached to me like that. I've been working with this lad since he's been, 10, 11 years old. And I know what he can do. And when you look at what his current coach, Ludwig Bernard, speaks of him, I mean, ranking him in the same category like Jermaine Hugh, and he's massive at Harbourview, he's an icon at Harbourview. But Krista J, yeah, I mean, I think, and I'll put it this way to sum up it, you've said a lot about him, I don't want to repeat that. I think he can be a major player in Jamaica's next campaign for the World Cup as an attacking midfield player. I think he's that good. He just needs to unlock those talents on a regular basis consistently, and he'll be great. Yeah.
As in, we spoke about consistency for Blake, and I think that's something that we want to see from Krista J, so that the words aren't just words. Yeah. There is proof to back it up. Next, we have Devontae Hodges. This is a young man that played for Clarendon College in last season's the Costa Cup. Outstanding performance under the guidance of Lenworth Hyde. Now he's with Dumby Holding as, what's his position again?
Yeah, he plays up front.
Well, yeah, and to me, from the few games I've seen, and for someone that's starting on the Dumby Holding team, he has a place on that team. He's present. He's, as you said something about Krista J about being, is Krista J or Romain? I don't remember. But you said something about them being intelligent, and I think that's something that Devontae Hodges emulates.
Yeah, sorry, I said up front, and he's in defense as well too. So, that's where he's at. But Hodges, for me, another one of those players who's showing that the level of intelligence is what I feel. Because a lot of these players are talented, and they get to the Premier League level and they don't seem to fit in. They seem like they struggle. Yeah. But I think it's because of his intelligence level and the way he reads the game, and his positioning for the most part is spot on a lot of time. And under the guidance of a teacher, how do you expect that of a player like that? And I think you talk about trajectory. If this player continues to develop the way he has over the couple of seasons we've seen him, there's no reason why he will not be able to make that transition. And I'm talking about that transition that we talk about, that 1% that makes it to the next level. For sure, he has the attributes for that. Some laugh of it, or it's a thing where his father would have been banging in goal at one end. He's doing it to keep it out at the other end. So, yeah, I feel he's one of those top talents. And, again, warrants his place here.
Well, another man that warrants his place in this top 5 is Richard King. I think we've heard this name so many times. He's not just like a standout for Cavalier, but he has represented Jamaica on numerous occasions currently with the Jamaica Reggae Boys. And to me, at 21 years old, if you have such a presence that your name isn't out of the conversation, that is somebody that we should look forward to and continue to nurture that talent. Because it's rare that you're going to see, footballers at his age consistently representing their country. And for me, I enjoy watching him. He's tall, very physical on the field, and he just knows the football. I think that for me, that's what I enjoy the most. He just knows the football, and I think he enjoys it a lot.
Well, that's it for me for defenders. I mean, any defender that you see likes to tackle a lot, it means they don't read the game a lot. And when they do read the game much, the positioning, it's a lot of intercepting. Now, for me, King, you talk about Blake being short. Well, he has the height, as you've mentioned. But I when he was paired with Topi at the time at Cavalier, he was always the one that I favoured. And I saw him in a game, carried a ball about, it was up by Owensboro Centre of Excellence, in that COVID truncated season, and he carried a ball about 30, 40 yards. He just broke out of midfield at overlapping centre-back and was able to supply an assist for a goal. His ball handling skill, to me, is very good. And I think the fact that they have him around the setup, he didn't play against Mexico the other day, But I think just being around it,
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time that he becomes a staple in that Reggae Boys
And I
team.
think that we have a conversation about athletes getting contracts and going abroad and learning, the system over there. But the fact that he's able to be around these footballers who aren't playing in Jamaica, who have their own systems abroad, and he's been able to see and learn and just observe how they carry themselves as a professional footballer. We can see him emulating some of this in his football game and just how he approaches football, whether he's playing or not.
Yeah, you're right about that. This is one of the players that I think should make that transition. And I'd love to see him ply his trade overseas. I mean, not bashing or Premier League, it's good, but we know that we'll never, probably in terms of resources, get to the standard of where, some of those top leagues in Europe are. But I really think he would be a good export to come back and be a part, because I know he'll have to play a part in us going forward on our next World Cup campaign.
Well, we talk about our defenders and our midfielders, but there's a goalkeeper in this top 5 that stands out to me. Last year in the JPL final against Dunbeholden, he represents Harbourview, Anthony Bennett. He started. He eventually had to come off due to injury and whatever. But there was a point in the season where he was the I would call the staple goalkeeper. Even though there was Amal Knight, he was able to hold up and continue the work that Amal was doing and get them to that stage of the competition. He's what?
When he played last year, was what, 17?
17. 18 years old now. That's ridiculous. And he's now Amal is gone on to other endeavors in football, but he is still here as their staple goalkeeper. Just 18 years old, keeping they're defending. They are the defending champions. The keeper for that team. To me, we don't talk a lot about goalkeepers in Jamaica. We kind of just keep rotating, and I'm not bashing them at all. I think our goalkeepers are good, but for someone that young to be consistently performing, even in the game last week, he
easily, to me, was the man of the match
for me. Exactly. That when Busy had scored his penalty kick, he saved it, and if he just reached his arm out. Just a little slow, but exactly, and that is my point. Those are the few things that we see that gives us hope for goalkeeping in Jamaica, and I think he's an athlete that we should look out for.
Very much so. The fact that he decided pretty early that he wanted to go pro. I remember talking, it's not the first time I'm talking about him now, because I spoke with Ludlow Bernard about him, and the fact that he decided he wanted to go pro, right? He wanted to take that decision. It's massive, and that shows me a mental strength, that he's knowing that he's taking a risk, but life is a risk, and he's backing his talent to be able to do so, and to be thrown into the team in the playoff stages. Yeah. That's when he came in last season and really carried Harbourview and showed a level of maturity. Yes, every goalkeeper, as a coach, nothing personal with goalkeeper. I just think everybody who's a goalkeeper is crazy. You decide that you're going to go into goal for somebody to kick a ball 80 miles per hour at you. It's just got to be crazy. But sometimes he goes off with his pass, give him a pass, but he's developing. But in terms of reliability, you want to know you have a good shot stopper behind you. And he does that for Harbourview and was evident in his last game. So, yeah, I think we've represented a team from goalkeeper, defender, midfielder.
You haven't mentioned a forward, though.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
But that probably leaves it. I'm pretty
to you guys.
Exactly, because a lot of them out there, I'm pretty sure, will have their opinion. And listen, you don't have to bash us. It's always, I tell you what, as good as a Brazil team is most times, any team that is selected, there's going to be persons who are going to say that person should have been in it. And they'll probably have good reasons for that too. So for us, we're open to those suggestions. And maybe, who knows, if you give good reasons, we can say, yeah, you're right, this person could have been in there over this person. So yeah, we're open to that.
So, as Dwight has said, or to continue with what he has said, you guys can comment below and also on our Instagram page who you think.
Who we're going to rank from 1 to 5, though.
Yeah, we're gonna rank. I'm just reminding them that you guys need to comment. Yes, so you guys can tell us. Probably we mentioned names that we didn't even remember, but yeah, that is just our random draw.
Dance all
And now we're gonna rank them.
It was quite spontaneous for this.
Yeah, it was quite spontaneous. I won't call any names as to who gave the idea, but it was quite spontaneous.
Jenny put me on the spot, trust me, but it's fine.
Yeah. But we're gonna rank 1 to 5.
So from 5?
From 5, I would put Hodges.
5. Well, yeah, I think, yeah, because
Don't just
what is
follow
going to
me,
be
you know.
4? No, what I think is going to be 4. I mean, yes, I will not follow you, but if you're right, I'll stick with it. I'm not going to disappoint. I'm not going to disagree with you for disagreeing's sake either. But you'll know for sure if I think that you're not making sense. But you always do make sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Dewight.
It's coming, man.
Number 4.
I think possibly Bennett. It's developing, I think. But yeah, I think Bennett, for me, would be number 4. It's a long way
I think
for
I can
him to
agree
show
with
some
that.
He shows some good potential. But like I said, all of them have room for improvement. But for now, I mean, every now and then in a game, today's game for goalkeepers, you want them to have a good footwork, the ability to use the ball with their feet. I think he's lacking somewhat with that, and he creates a little scary moment for Harborview at times.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Hear Lodi shouting out, "Man, you crazy, man, just put your foot through it if that's the case." So I have him at number 4.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The reasoning and the place. Let me state my number 3. Honestly, I'd give it to
Blake.
Romain Blake. Yes, and I wanted you to give it a chance. But I'd give it to Romain Blake because I think he also has some more growing to do. Even though I think this is just a very good season. Not discrediting his talent, but he is having a very good season.
He is.
From Manning Cup straight up to the JPL and leading into the playoffs, hopefully. But him with more grooming, both in as a defender and a midfielder, just for versatility purposes, will grow. And I know that if he does continue on the line that he is, we can see great things from him.
Yeah, and he's under the stewardship of a good coach. I mean, Gail he's been working with,
and he has been working with him for a very long time. Exactly. So that coach-athlete relationship, him being able to trust his coach with the instructions that he's given him, would be useful for a young footballer.
Yeah.
Two.
I don't want them to think. Even you spoke before when we agreed on the first one. No discussion on this as to what the ranking was going to be. I guess it's just great minds thinking alike. I think this one, my heart says 1, my head have reasons. If it's going to be to present logics and reasons, which we always do on the Sports Latte, is that I think Krista J is just an awesome player. And my heart is with that because I've worked with him a long time. I just know what he can do. King, he's doing it. He has gotten the recognition of the national team coach, not just this coach, but coaches before. So my heart wants to give Krista J number 1. My head is telling me stuff that King has a valid.
I will interject and just give my place because if I leave Dwight, he will not make a decision for now. But I think I'm going to give my number 2 and 1. For right now, currently, in this day and age, what's happening right now, I'm going to give Krista J number 2. And it's not because you know how I am with Krista J as a footballer. Very talented, and he will, if he continues, do great in football. But I think that what Richard King is doing now at 21 and Krista J at 20, he is a step ahead of him. And Krista J would need to be playing consistently. Let us see what we know and we believe he is talented and capable of, for me to put him in that number one position. But for right now, I think King has that number one position as our top 5 under 22 footballers in the Jamaica Premier League. And I think I think that would be.
I'm not going to argue. Like I said, the heart would say Chris. My head says King. I think we're going with our head here because we want to be logical into our reasoning with our fans out there. But you're right. The fact that he's, to me, in that national setup consistently.
Yeah.
And what he's doing.
And his name is in the conversation about not just young footballers, but footballers in general. And that gives him an edge for me over Krista J.
I mean, mind you, Chris is coming back from Slovenia.
He is coming back,
and he was injured and started the Premier League back in January with a groin, so he's getting
and
back
to say that he has come back and done what he has done so far, it's commendable, right? But if we're going to compare him to Richard King, we need a little bit more.
The season, we need a little bit more. So I think that was spur him on to push, but for King to even push harder to ensure that he breaks into the national team with regular playing time. And just ensure that Chris doesn't catch him back, and Chris has to try and catch him back for the rest in the top 5, just to know that there are other good talent out there. I want to mention the 15-year-old that went in goal for Harbour View against Chapelton Maroons. I think he was thrown there because Foster was on national duty.
No, not Harbour View, Waterhouse.
For Waterhouse, sorry. Because Foster was on national duties. It was a nervous start, and you expect that for a 15-year-old, but I think he did what was needed
and
of him.
And the bravery and resilience to even go out there and perform is commendable. So there is talent across the board in Jamaica.
It was a goal down too. He was scored on first in that game. I think Chapelton was leading that game, and then they lost it. So I think
we have good talent here on Island, and here at the Sports Latte, we just want to give them recognition. So this is our top 5 under 22 footballers in the Jamaica Premier League. We ask you guys to leave yours in the comments below. And if you guys want us to give our opinions on anything else, let us know.
And maybe before the next, or you can say the next episode, we can look at those persons and that they've mentioned and some of those comments. We take out maybe the top 5 comments then.
And there you have it. This is the Sports Latte exclusive.
Dance all I go need me. Frankie, this I get to